the recording. Great. So I am Heather Vesant, the Executive Director and President of IDPro. I've been with the organization for just about a year. I like to start talking about IDPro with our mission statement, which to me really anchors like why I'm here and what we're trying to achieve with the work that we're doing here at IDPro. So IDPro exists to globally foster ethics and excellence in the practice and profession of digital identity. So if I think about this, it's about supporting the human being, the identity practitioner that is having to understand all of the identity issues, to solve identity problems, to make decisions about identity technologies, to implement identity technologies for their workforce or their customers or in their product. And so if we support that human being, they're able to do their job better, which has a trickle-down effect of having a better product or a better employee experience, which ends up resulting in having a trickle-down effect in making a better and safer, more secure internet. So that's kind of where I see my impact in trying to help make the internet more secure. Probably if you work in identity, you know, a lot of security issues can be solved by good identity. And so, but identity is really hard to solve. There's so many problems. It's extremely complex. There are a lot of different ways you could solve it. There's a lot of legacy technology that you have to work with when you are solving problems. So how do you get better at doing that, better at solving those problems and just become a better identity practitioner? That's what we do and we support here at IDPro. And we do that with three pillars, like I like to call. So we have our vendor neutral learning materials. This is our body of knowledge. It is freely available to anyone. You don't have to be an IDPro member. And what this is a series of articles that goes into a lot of the foundational material and knowledge that is needed to be a great identity practitioner. Then IDPro has also created a certification, the CIDPro, CID certification. And the CIDPRO certification is basically, if you think about, it's a certification that proves that you have foundational knowledge to be a good identity practitioner. If you work in cybersecurity or information security, the CISP exam is similar to the type of exam. It's a certification that shows you've got the knowledge to work in information security, but that exam only covers about 20% of identity. So think about the CIDPRO exam as if you want to specialize in identity and you work in the identity space, that's the credential that specifically supports identity professionals. And we at IDPro developed this credential in order to help support the industry, to have better practitioners, to have practitioners be able to showcase their identity knowledge. And last but certainly not least is our community. And our community, we have a Slack community that members are part of. And our founder, Ian Glazier, calls our community the ultimate phone a friend. Every day I go into our community and see that there are folks asking questions, getting answers. We've got a couple conferences coming up, Identiverse and EIC in Berlin. We get some pretty great discounts for that. So not only do we have an online community where you can be a part of and ask questions, but we have discounts so that you can meet with others in person and build your professional network. So let me dig into a little bit about each of these different items. So the body of knowledge, you can access that here through the IDPro body of knowledge. And I just want to show you kind of what one of the articles looks like. So we've got like over 31 articles now, and we're always growing the body of knowledge. And in fact, there's an opportunity for IDPro members to write an article for the body of knowledge in your particular area of expertise. So if we look at this body of knowledge article, it's the introduction to IAM architecture. You can see it's got V2 here, which means that body of knowledge articles are reviewed and revised as needed. So they're always up to date with the latest technology and the way things might be changing. You can see that this was written by two folks, two co-authors, Andrew Cameron and Graham Williamson. And so they're both longtime IDPro members. You can go through and read this. We've got terminology. So if you're new to identity and access management, you can really get an orientation. If you've been in the space for a while, but this might be, well, probably not, this would be an area of something that you would be learning new. But we do have articles about like non-human identity, that maybe you've been working in workforce identity and you want to like understand what might be happening with that. You can read these articles and we've got the terminologies. And basically, you can download these, you can, read them. And this also serves as some of the study material for the certification exam. The body of knowledge is available to anyone. You don't need to be an IDPro member. And so I've had folks say, hey, we've been using the body of knowledge for months. We love it. And now we want to become a member. So IDPro is a nonprofit, and this is one of the ways we utilize our funds to be able to support the industry. Here's some other articles of the body of knowledge, and you can kind of see that we've got a lot of different folks from a lot of different companies. There's opportunities to co-author them, and that can result in thought leadership for you as an individual or for your organization. So I want to talk a little bit about the CIDPRO certification exam. So we know that digital identity is a space that is growing. There is a lot of demand for digital identity practitioners, but organizations don't know who has what kind of baseline knowledge for their identity background. If you want to hire someone that has digital identity background already, you're probably going to pay a lot of money for them. But other folks take the path of developing their IAM expertise in-house. And so that's where the CIDPRO certification can really come in help here. So there's two ways that we can support this. So identity professionals who are looking to get into or to be in the identity and access management space, maybe you've been working in the space for a few years, you get the certification, it proves that you have the foundational knowledge. So if you're going to be looking at other jobs or looking around or looking to solidify your career in identity and access management, it's a great credential to be able to show to employers and the industry that you have those chops. From an organizational perspective, I've got organizations using the CIDPRO certification in a couple different ways. So some will just offer them to their employees as a perk, just to keep for training and retention. Other organizations are looking to develop a deeper IAM knowledge inside their organization, and so they offer it to their teams as part of a career path development. For example, I have a couple organizations where they might have individual practitioners or developers or integrators that have been working in the space for some time, but they might want to move into more of a consulting role or into a more leadership role. And in that case, those organizations ask those folks to take the CIDPRO exam as part of their employee development program. So those are a couple of ways that organizations use the CIDPRO exam. Well, what is the CIDPRO exam? So it is 100 questions. It is a proctored exam. You can take it either like on your computer, online, in a secure environment, or you can actually go take it in person. It tests on these 5 basic areas, 5 main topic areas. So the basic elements of an identity solution. So this is just kind of like basic stuff like might be covered in that first article I showed you. It would test on identifiers, the life cycle, and identity proofing. It does have questions specifically about security for identity. So having a broad understanding of security is good, but there might be different ways on how you might want to implement things to be secure, specifically when it comes to implementing IAM systems. And also with rules and standards, and this includes both like government rules like GDPR or the California Consumer Data Protections Act, but also technology standards like we include the NIS standards and some other W3C standards and say OpenID and FIDO standards. And so having a familiarity and understanding of those is important as well. And then also general operational considerations, what you need to think about when you're implementing one of these identity and access management systems. So how do you kind of prepare for this? Uh, we've got a separate webinar that goes really into details about this exam. So if you're interested, there'll be a link on that coming up soon. But also, if you think about the body of knowledge as the book knowledge, I want you to have 2 or more years of applied knowledge. And so you can read the book knowledge, but then you need to be able to apply it in specific digital identity scenarios. And so we ask for you to have 2 or more years of experience. You can't just read the body of knowledge and then expect to pass the exam, because what the exam does is it tests you on how you would solve or how you would implement an identity system in particular scenarios. And then we also do have exam preparation. We've got a practice exam that we launched last November, and that's about a 30-question exam that you can take, and it will really give you a temperature check on like, hey, can I pass the exam? What's the exam going to be like, etc. So, preparing with the body of knowledge, having some hands-on experience, thinking about how you might implement identity systems in your work, and then using the practice exam will put you in a really good place to be able to take the exam and pass the exam to get the credential. This is just kind of like some high-level benefits of getting the certification. For candidates, you can use this. The identity and access management space is huge. And sometimes folks are specialized in one area. So in going through preparing for the exam, it gives you an opportunity to kind of like go in and check in on the high points on some other areas of identity and access management that you might not be dealing with in your day-to-day work life. From an industry perspective, like our vision, IDPro's vision for having this huge investment in developing this exam is really to help professionalize the industry. We're a nonprofit. We're not looking to make money off of this. We're looking to make this industry be more acknowledged as a profession, to have folks who are identity and access management professionals get support to be better professionals, and really kind of like help empower our industry to solve problems better, to collect and aggregate our information and the knowledge, and just to help each other. And I mentioned, we have a webinar coming up. I think I actually have the link right here. If you guys are interested in it, it is going to be on the April 27th. So I'll just drop a link in here. If you're interested in more information about the certification, my head of the certification committee, Kevin Strader, does this webinar. He goes into a lot of details. I'm not a certification person. He goes into a lot of the details about like how we created the exam, how do you need to prepare for the exam, a little bit more details about that. So highly recommend that you check that out if you're interested in it. I wanted to mention, some organizations are kind of like, well, how can I use this? How can I have this be a benefit? And so Amazon is one of our members, and kind of want to share like an example of like, how does Amazon get value out of their IDPro membership? So Amazon's one of our members, and they basically bought packs of the CIDPRO certification so that they could give to their identity and access management teams. Anyone who wanted to get the certification, they just gave it to them. What happened was this resulted in their teams self-organizing into study groups using the body of knowledge articles so that they could study the articles and then understand how they might apply this knowledge within Amazon. It was an opportunity for more senior folks within Amazon to be able to share their knowledge, and more junior folks in Amazon to be able to learn from their team. And not only did that help build the knowledge and preparation to take the CIDPRO exam, but it also built relationships across the identity access management teams in their organization. A lot of the senior folks in the Amazon organization participate on the IDPro Slack, and they have also contributed to writing articles for the body of knowledge. This helps them showcase their expertise to the industry and help the industry and give back to the industry. And the flip side of that is, like, they're more junior folks being a member of our community, and being able to read the body of knowledge articles. You really are surrounded by the doers and the thinkers and the implementers in the space. So you don't even have to participate just to learn. You can just be a member of the Slack and read the channels and read the conversations and just kind of soak in all the knowledge, which will really help you build your career. It's also a way, like, if you're a junior folk, that you can kind of, like, you don't have to kind of stick your neck out or ask questions. Although you can do that, we have spaces, you can ask any kinds of questions to the community. Folks will answer them, and you're able to just really, like, learn from folks who are really building the identity technology in the space. So Amazon looks at their investment into IDPro membership as supporting their recruiting and retention efforts. And they fund their membership out of, I think, their hiring and training budgets. Other organizations might fund out of marketing or hiring or or their training budgets as well. So I want to kind of, like, it's a little bit hard to kind of give you an experience of what that community is. But I want to take a screenshot of our Slack channel here. This is our community is on the Slack channel. And so this is a screenshot. When you land in the Slack channel, you get into this onboarding channel, which kind of helps orient you into all the channels and places you can go and learn things from. And there are conversations happening every day about all kinds of aspects with identity and access management. They can be, right now we're having a lot of conversations about Identiverse and EIC because both those events are happening next month. We also have had a lot of conversations about specific technologies when passkeys came out. There are a lot of questions about that. We had the folks, like, who were working on the passkeys right in the community answering those questions. And this conversation here, this is from last summer. This conversation just kind of shows some of the ways that we really have the engagement with the organization. You can see we've got a great question when I talk about authentication. We had over 115 replies, like over 10 people responding to it. So there's a lot of knowledge and a lot of opinions and a lot of people that want to help you understand how to, answer your questions. So, this is one of the major benefits of joining IDPro. With the caveat is that what you get out is what you put in. So, if you join IDPro and you take a while to activate your Slack membership, or you don't really go into it very much, you're not going to feel like you're receiving much. But once you're engaged in it and you're involved, I mean, you don't have to read it every day. It's not super active. You don't have to engage with it, but it really does give you a lot of value. And you're not going to get that anywhere else. The other thing that's really interesting about the community is it's a way to kind of take a temperature check of what's identity and access management professionals think. For example, a couple weeks ago, someone asked some questions. They had not been able to go to the Gartner IAM Summit, but they were reading through a lot of their decks and the follow-up presentations. And so they said, okay, I wasn't able to go, but IDPro members, what did you think? What do you think are the next big things, the next big trends that are going to be happening in 3 to 5 years? And so we had a really nice long discussion about what that was. And there's really no other place you can have that kind of conversation with your identity and access management peers. I just like to put some quotes up. When I joined the organization about a year ago, one of the first questions I asked the community was, why did you join IDPro? Um, because, you might think, oh, is it only for new people? Is it only, for implementers? It, IDPro really wants to be the big umbrella for anyone who's working in identity and access management to be able to go to get support to be a better identity practitioner. We've got members that have been in the space for 30 years and they are still learning things from the Slack channel, and they're still learning things. We've got people that are brand new that are learning, and you might have some ideas, or your company might have some organization ideas on how to do identity and access management. Talking to the folks in our community, you'll be able to find out like the best way to implement things, or to problem solve things, or to troubleshoot things. And that will shave off, I don't know, time on your schedules. It'll stop you from going down rabbit holes or trying solutions that end up not working. It'll just make you better at your job. I mentioned earlier, we always have some industry discounts. Right now, we've got some pretty good discounts for Identiverse and European Cloud Identity Summit. Identiverse is the end of March. No, sorry, end of May. It's the last week of May, and it's happening in Las Vegas. And so we've got a 25% discount going right now. It's one of the best events if you're in identity. Sorry, Cole, no discounts for attending the webinar yet. For EIC, it's a great identity conference that's in Berlin. So while I am US based, and we have a lot of US based organizations, we do really have global membership. And so kind of think of Identiverse as like the place where all the US based or like identity folks are in the US. But EIC is a great place if you're in Europe to be able to go. We're also working on a discount for Authenticate. That is going to be in Southern California, I think in like the fall. And we usually get about a 20% discount for Internet Identity Workshop, which happens a couple times a year. So we're working on some other discounts too. Depending on what level you might join at, like the discount could cover the cost of membership. Here's some of our corporate memberships, corporate members. We've got a lot of really great folks in the industry who are corporate members. We also have a lot of individual members. I apologize, this slide is really not the best slide to be able to showcase this, but I'm not really sure how else to point out that like we have individual members at all of these organizations. So these folks are not necessarily organizational members, but they participate in the space. So, you're going to have like over 200 companies that work in identity and access management in this community. I mean, they're already in this community. When you join, you're going to be hanging out with them and being able to learn from them. So kind of recap, like, why do people join? Why do organizations join IDPro? They'll do it to hire and retain talent. They do it to offer a kind of more clear career path development. Sometimes they want to do it more generally to kind of grow identity skills within teams. Really, a lot of folks want to participate in industry networking and camaraderie and utilize those discounts. And last but certainly not least is like many people who have been in the space for a long time want to give back. If you're new to identity, you might think that, why have these problems not been solved already? It would just be really easy if they just did this, this, and this. But the longer you're in the space and the more you work with identity systems and you try to implement identity solutions, you realize how complex and difficult and interconnected identity really is. And that's why we haven't solved it yet. And so a lot of folks want to help people learn things easier that they learned the hard way. So there's a lot of folks in our industry that have been in the space for 25, 30 years. I did a panel earlier this week on Tuesday with myself and 4 members from IDPro, and together we had over 120 years cumulative effect in identity, cumulative experience in identity. That is a lot. Each of us had at least 20 years of experience, and that is a lot of folks in the industry as well. Okay, so kind of like next steps. Actually, I wanted to, okay, I wanted to talk about IDPro membership. So how do we have this set up? So we we have individual memberships. So if you're interested, we generally have either organizations join, and an organization will join for a membership, or you can have an individual join for a member. Our individual membership is $150. We have also this one that is kind of for a sole proprietor. So that's supposed to be for like a small independent identity consultant. So these are kind of the individual levels. And then once the organizational levels start at the Oak level for $12.50. To answer your question, Cole, how do you know if your company already has a membership? You can email me. I'll put my email in here and let me know your company name and I can let you know. Um, and yeah, I can let you know from there. Organizational members come in at like the Oak level and higher. And how do you decide which level you want to join? Well, it really depends on the corporate memberships have a number of individual seats in them, and those individual seats, they get access to like the Slack channel and they count as memberships. So, if you're just looking to start out, you have a small team, that Oak level is really good. That gives you 5 individuals as part of that membership. You get access to the Slack. We have a monthly newsletter. You get the discounts. There are other ways you can participate in our committees. We do this, we're just going through it right now. We do this annual skills and program survey, which we question the industry. We send a survey out to the industry. We analyze the data and we share it back. We share it to our membership first, but we do end up sharing it. So we'll share it to our membership in early summer, and we'll share it to the broad community publicly in probably like late fall. And then we have a little bit of branding benefits here. That's kind of like the Oak level, and the Oak level really kind of sets the baseline for the benefits that you can receive. Coming up to the Bronze, that increases your number of individual seats to 25. At the Silver level, we start adding some CIDPRO benefits. The CIDPRO exam is $750. We have a sample exam you can take, it's $50. At the Bronze and Oak level, you don't get any kinds of discounts or CIDPRO benefits. But starting at the Silver level, if your organization's interested in the CIDPRO benefits, you end up receiving one CIDPRO exam once per year, and then you're automatically unlock a 25% discount on any additional CIDPRO exams you want to purchase for the year. So this is a great level for organizations that want membership and want to kind of like see if the CIDPRO certification is right for them, because you get like the free tests that you can use. You can try it out, see if you want to, increase more with your members, with your employees. We also add a little bit more branding benefit here. At the Gold level, that just kind of increases in memberships, the number of individuals, the number of exams. And then when we come to Platinum and Diamond level, actually, I've got some new benefits at those levels. We do some branded content. At the Diamond level, you get a nominating committee seat. We've also got a couple additional benefits that I'm just getting approved by the board for those levels. So if you're interested in those levels, I can share that with you as well. Oops. Okay, so next steps here, if you guys want to think about it, you can decide if you want to join. You could sign up. We have got it pretty easy to join as individual members. I should put that in the link. I'll just show you on our website here. If you go to membership, benefits and how to join. If you want to set up like a one-on-one conversation with me, if you're interested in corporate membership, you can fill this format or just email me. If you want an individual membership, you can just click down here. And then to start the application, just start your email here, put your email here, and we'll start that. If you want to think you're interested in corporate membership, you've got other questions, you can email me. I'm happy to kind of chat with you. If you want to learn more about the CIDPRO certification, you can register for our April webinar. I already dropped the link in the chat. And if you want to set up, if you're like, I want to do CIDPRO now, you can go to this URL. Right there. And it does require you to create an account to be able to log in and buy the CIDPRO exam. You can buy the CIDPRO exam, and then I think you have a year you have to schedule it, but you have like a year that you could take the exam. And just to kind of recap, like for me, we think the technology is going to solve a lot of the problems that we have in the world, but there's still humans in the world. And so I look at what IDPro is doing is we're supporting the human being to try to make technology and the implementation of identity technology better, faster, smoother, more comprehensive, like the right way. So there's less problems. And that results in a better identity experience for everyone, which for me, my motivation for being here is to have a more safe and secure broad internet. So that's kind of my introduction. If there's questions, I'm happy to answer some questions. And folks who have joined late, I'll be happy to share the presentation with you. I did record this, and yeah, open to questions now if anyone has them. If you have questions, just raise your hand or unmute, or you can drop them in the chat. Yes. Okay. So Robert, you had a question about the certification costs and membership. So yes, membership is an annual fee that gets renewed annually. The certification is a one-time based on the certification. Certification, the list price is $750. When you join as an individual member, we do give you a one-time discount of 25% to take the exam. So we kind of want to make it so that, you know, it's easy for you to take the exam. Does that answer that question? I think so. Other questions?
Yep, sure does. Thanks.
Great. Any other questions?
A quick side question. Did IDPro come out of the Kantara initiative?
It sure did. I had the
Okay.
slide back in the back because sometimes people ask me about the history. So Ian Glazier is one of our founders. He kind of presented that idea at EIC in 2016. It was incubated at Kantara for about a year and then spun out. In 2018, 2019 is really when we incubated and developed the concept of the body of knowledge, which was then launched. And then we launched that, and then we launched the CIDPRO. So, oh, the error. Okay. Did you want to, Martha, do you want to try there or maybe this one? Maybe try those two. I'm curious where this came from. I will say we are a nonprofit. Oh, that looks like, that's interesting. We're a nonprofit, and we are still working with a pretty lean budget. So yeah, I'm working very slowly in baby steps to improve our website and to improve a lot of things. But to improve the member experience. But we have a great member experience today. Great. Okay, that's great, Martha. That's great. And you know, a lot of folks, they join as an individual to kind of like check things out, and then they'll bring a team on. And so, yeah, that's a great way to kind of see what IDPro is about, experience it for yourself. So, and that said, also, you know, if you are interested in an organizational membership and, you know, you've got a leadership team or maybe your other team, I'm happy to do an introduction like this to an executive team or, you know, a small group. I do that all the time to kind of help folks in your team really like understand how it might fit in. As well, I'm happy to share this deck where I'm happy to share this deck. Actually, I'll just I'll just open it up right now so that you know, if you want to reference it again or you want to look back at it. Well, we still got folks joining, but here we go. Great. Well, for folks who are just joining, or if you missed it, I'll shoot you a quick email with the information, with a link to the recording, and we can go from there. I think I will go ahead and turn the recording off, and